Let's bring in our senior political correspondent, Ed O'Keefe, who is on the phone for us this morning with this breaking news. Ed, good morning to you. Why was Dick Cheney such an important figure for the Republican Party?
Well, Tony, first of all, he's one of the few people in national political history to serve as a White House chief of staff, a member of Congress, a cabinet secretary, and then a heartbeat away from the presidency. Cheney served Gerald Ford as his chief of staff, and then later, as you mentioned, in key role of defense secretary during the first Persian Gulf War. But it's really his years with George W. Bush shaping that administration, especially its foreign policy and the justifications for the war in Iraq that shaped his legacy. In more recent years, though, he's come to define the concerns that many older, longer time members of the Republican Party had with Donald Trump. He was a key critic of his during his rise in 2015 and 2016, and his daughter as well, Liz Cheney, has become a key critic of the Trump administration and Trump policies. But he will be remembered, as you said, as perhaps the most powerful, influential vice president to ever hold that role, and someone who, and there's only a handful of them across both parties, has held so many key roles in both the executive and legislative branches.
Yeah, Ed, he was an early architect or an architect of an earlier era of Republican politics. He staked out many conservative positions as a representative of the state of Wyoming for 6 terms in Congress, positions on abortion, on foreign policy, on gun regulation. But he also broke with his party very early on the issue of gay marriage. You mentioned his daughter, Liz Cheney, but his other daughter, Mary Cheney, was somebody that he supported deeply, and it changed his politics. Some friends of his, fans of Dick Cheney, say that he cared about being right more than he cared about being popular. And that was certainly a battle, the battle with right versus popular, that he had to wage as vice president. A controversial figure talked about a lot because of weapons of mass destruction, the run up to the Iraq war. As we begin to evaluate this, it just came in. He's 84 years old. People are going to be talking about Dick Cheney today. What's the one thing you think people should remember about the now late vice president?
Well, I think if you're looking at more modern history or more recent political history, the fact that he was one of those that really did try to stand in the way of Trump's rise and his complete reshaping of the Republican Party, just what it was at the beginning of the century versus what it is now, is so different. And in many ways, it's because of the policies that Dick Cheney put in place that Donald Trump insisted on running in the first place, and raising concerns about the Iraq war, raising concerns about the way the United States was forming foreign policy. But ultimately, again, I think we don't often dwell on those that have served in key positions across different governments, different administrations. There's really only a handful. You put him, James Baker, who served Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush, maybe someone like Leon Panetta, who served multiple presidents as a Democrat and a CIA director. There's a small handful of people who've, in essence, done it all in Washington. Dick Cheney will be certainly remembered as one of those people, whether you agreed with what he did or not.
Yeah, that is certainly true. Ed O'Keefe, thank you very much. Appreciate you hopping on the phone with this breaking news. Again, to our viewers, former Vice President Dick Cheney has died at the age of 84. We're going to have much more on CBS Mornings coming up at 7 a.m. in just a few moments. There will also be coverage on your local news and on our streaming network, CBS News 24/7. This has been a CBS News special report. I'm Tony DeCopel in New York.